Uh, all right, thank you so much. Yeah. So good evening, everyone. So my name is Deji Manuel. So I will be taking these CV curations and interview prep. For today, we are going to focus on CV curation. So, and I'll do a quick introduction. So if you want to search up my who I am, so you can go to my LinkedIn profile. So, which is D Emmanuel, yeah. So you can search me up on that. So yeah, and yeah, I've done a lot in my life in the IT career. So started from DA, moved to QA, did a developer, also Scrum Master, and yeah, and the likes anyway. So and also I've also done test architect, even yeah, and test manager, and yeah, so and as well as a product owner. So I've kind of done lots, so even as a contractor. So I've moved from one role to the other. So with that, I can be able to tell you how a good CV should look like. What are the mistakes? What are the pitfalls? What are the things that you shouldn't do on your CV? What are the things that you should expect on your CV? So how do you create a CV from scratch? That's what we are going to talk about today. So it's going to be practical. We're going to start from basic. So maybe we might not finish today on how you can do your CV, but we'll start from very scratch actually. So, and also we look into the template that you can use to create your CV, where you can get your data from. But I'm going to assume that, okay, yeah, we are new into IT. But before I start, right, I want to know how many people have got CV. If you already have a CV created before, you can put one on the chart. If you don't have a CV at all, yeah, can you put zero, right? So, yeah. Okay, all right, cool. I can see a lot of some ones. Yeah. So if you have a CV already, so okay, I see zero, which is good. That is fine. Yeah. So there's a lot, there's some ones. Yeah, okay. All right, cool. And zeros. Okay. All right. So yeah, I know some of you also might have gone through this program before. Every time I do this is always new, right? There are a lot of things that you would get from there anyway. So thank you so much that there's some zero. I'm really, really motivated to help everyone. Whether you got a CV before or you don't have a CV, I think this program is for you anyway. Today, we're going to lose. So if you already have a CV, I want you to bring that CV out because I'll be talking about things that you shouldn't do on your CV, things that you should do on your CV. So you should start updating and correcting them anyway. For those that haven't got a CV, okay, that's also good, right? So another thing also, yeah, if your CV is IT related, please put one. And if it's not IT related, put zero. So because yeah, other people can get a CV, it might not be IT related. So if your CV is IT related, just put one. But if it's not IT related or you haven't got a CV at all, you can just put zeros. Just to know my audience, so I know how to kind of help everyone. So if that's fine, so I can see some ones, yeah, so which is brilliant. Okay, all right, cool. So one thing that we would also do here, right, we will look at different stages that you are on, right? So and to see how we can help everyone, right? Because what I have seen in many years of mentoring people is, so some people have got CV, right? And you've been applying with the CV and you haven't got anything, no calls, no interviews, nothing, right? It's just dry, right? So, and some people will have got a CV, you've got a CV and you've applied, but you got calls, but it has never ever got to interview. It's all calls, right? So all this, there are different ways you need to address it, right? For instance, now, if you have a CV and you've been applying and you haven't got any calls, technically, you need to review your CV, right? So that we will do, right? We'll review your CV for you, the CV you created. So, and as we go within this program, right, I will send a link, right, where you would upload your CV, right? But before you do that, I would first do CV curation session so that you'll be able to update your CV to how it should be. Then after that, you will upload your CV. then we would review the CV. So the CV will only be seen by myself, and I'll give you feedback on what I think the CV should look like, right? So then after that, like I said, if your CV is not great and it's not giving you any call, so you review the CV. Yeah, if with your CV, you are getting calls and you are not getting interview, the next is basically, what are you saying at the course? In the course of this program, I'll be bringing some tools that I've used, right, in many years, which we're working. Actually, one of them is elevator pitch, right? I'll tell you what that is, and I'll tell you how to prepare for it as well. So I'll tell you how to prepare for it as well. So that will be elevator pitch. I'll tell you the importance of this as well. So because it's useful when a recruiter calls you and you are newbie, right? So in some cases, you might need to read it out. You might need to cram it before it becomes part of you. So all this we will be talking about as we go along in this particular journey. So it will be weekly, right? So maybe you call it my weekly show, right? So it will be weekly. I'll be talking about different ways, what you need to do based on my experience. And trust me, I've got a lot of experience on my bed. I've lost count how many interviews I've gone to. I've lost count of how many applications I've done. And to be honest, I was speaking to my wife, even the job I've done, I've lost count of them actually. So, and I think I'm better placed to be able to advise and also to do this as well. So whether you have a CV or you don't have a CV, or your CV is not giving you what you are looking for, you're in the right place. Or you are already kind of got a CV and you've migrated, you are getting interview and there's no job. So I think we need to look into that. So rather than before, I'll be talking today will be introduction. Next week, I would want to talk about everyone, right? So that I can cover everyone within a session. So right. So today, right, it will be a bit interactive, right? We'll start from beginning from there anyway. So now, yeah. So one, I want you to put in the chat, okay? If you've actually done an interview with your CV, right, and you put 4, okay? I've done an interview, but I've not got a job, right? Right, that's it. But if you have done an interview and you've got a job, right? Yeah, maybe put 5, right? So, and that's, I've done an interview with my CV and I've not got a job, right? So that is a 4. But if you've done a CV, right, but you've not actually gone an interview, but you got calls, right? Right, can you put 3 on the chart? That means I've got a CV, but I have been getting calls, but those calls are not actually getting me anywhere. No interview yet, right? Okay, that is a 3. So if you got a CV, right, and no course at all, right, no course at all, right, so you can put a 2, right. I'll repeat again. A 2 is when you got a CV, right, and the CV have not got to any course. And yeah, and please also mean, okay, I'll talk about it. So that's a 2. You got a CV and you've not got any call from the CV. That is a 2. You've got a CV, you got calls, but no interview. That's a 3. You got a CV and this CV has landed you an interview. That is a 4, right? Then after that, yeah, a 5 will be, yeah, I've got a CV and the CV have got me a job, right? So that is a 5, to be honest. And the last person is a 1. I've got a CV. I have not used it to apply at all. That is the 1. I know a lot of people might also be in that situation as well. You got a CV, but you never sent it out, right? Yeah, so that is a 1, okay? And so I'll be addressing this one after the other. So 1, unless you are a very, very man of faith, right? And you believe in miracle, right? Which I think you should anyway. So if you have a CV and you don't send it out, I don't think anything is going to happen. It's not. So, and for those ones that put 1, please do send the CV out. Right. And the best person to review your CV is a recruiter, right? I can do what I want to do. I can encourage, I can review, but the best person to give you the good feedback or the bad feedback about your CV is a recruiter, right? Because when you send your CV out and you don't get any calls, that's your feedback. That is your feedback that your CV needs to be looked into, right? You don't need any sayer or any oracle for that to tell you that your CV needs to be looked into, right? So if you have a CV and your CV is not getting you a call, you need to sit down and look into that CV. So that is first thing, right? So maybe you need to recreate your CV. So which you're going to start from beginning, right? So we need to look into that. Number two, right? You've got the CV now, right? And you've sent it out and you are not getting, you are getting calls, but you are not getting interview, right? So the next is, what are you saying, right? Now, it's also possible that your domain knowledge, it's not even your domain knowledge, how you pitch yourself, it's wrong, right? Because let me tell you, most people that will call you in the first instance are maybe secondary school graduates, right? They are not technical. They are only people that you will call a salesperson, right? A junior staff that they want to use to screen all the CVs. I think you should be able to screen through, right? If you know what you're doing. That's why I said I have a tool and we're going to look at those two, right? What you can use to be able to scale through, right? Yeah. So one of the tools I use is mind map. Are we going to look into it? How do we do your mind map? How do your elevator pitch? So that when you got a call, you can then be able to pick the call up. Another thing that can make people not to pick call up, right, is level of knowledge that they have, right? Maybe you're a BA, but you don't know what to say. You are scared. Okay, I know what to say as an introduction. I know how to pitch myself, but when they do ask me follow-on question, I don't know what to say. So, and I can tell you, congratulations, you're in the right place, or because we're going to expand your knowledge. We're going to increase what you have. We're going to put a lot of things in your brain so that eventually you have that confidence to be able to say things that you should have said at interviews. So those are the things that we are going to be looking into, right? So, and okay, now you've got the confidence, you picked the course, you spoke, right? Then you landed that interview. Congratulations. I tell you, to be honest, something to be celebrated, right? Celebrate yourself, pat yourself at the back, have a drink on yourself, because to be honest, it's an achievement, right? So, and some people, as you can see, have not been able to get interviews. But if you have got that, right, make sure that you celebrate it, right? Don't, oh, okay, yeah, no panicking, no, right? So then after that, prepare. And some people think that they can't prepare for interview or they don't know how to prepare for interview. No, actually, because of course, interview, there's element of uncertainty in there, but you want to limit all this uncertainty as far as possible, right? So how can you do that? It's like going for an exam, right? You need to read, you need to prepare. So, but you need to know, of course, you know that you don't know where the questions are coming from, but you can only prepare what you need. The same way for interviews, you can prepare for interviews. You can know that at least you've covered 80% of what you think should come out of the interviews. And then, of course, there's a grace and chance, whatever you believe in anyway, that's attributed to interviews as well. I've seen some people go for an interview, they said that interview was a little chat, we just had chat. But to be honest, even though it says a little chat, but the fact that you can hold conversation on the subject means that you got something that you want to say. For some people, they can't even hold 2 minutes conversation on a particular topic. So for you, right, it's a chat, but for other, it's not anyway. So yeah, so that's what we are going to talk about today, right? And also for going on the program. Then another thing also, right? If you have any question at any particular time, please do, do put on the chat or raise your hand. I'll call you, right? We can look into that. So yeah. So and before we go ahead, let me say, do we have any question? I've kind of put what you would call a curriculum of the career and development talk, right? So, and if you got any questions, you can put on the chat, you can raise your hand, or you got any focus, right? You want, DG, can you focus on this area for me, DG? I'm struggling with this area. This is why I'm here, so that I can also be able to address your issue, if not today, and or maybe next time we meet next week. So if you are in that situation, you want to kind of put in the chat or you want to raise your hand up, that is fine. Okay. Do we have anyone like that? Anyway. Okay. All right. So perhaps you are interested in our diploma or certificate, which is going to give you the knowledge that I spoke about. Yeah. You can also put this particular link down, crc.blueskystarlight.org, where we will give you diploma experience within 12 months or certificates in IT within 3 months in software testing and cybersecurity, Scrum Master and data analysis, business analysis and data analysis, Scrum Master, and project management. So depending on what you want, depending on your role, right, we'll be able to kind of support you in your journey. And if I may say also, this particular course is targeted to you making transition into IT. And whether you are grant 0 or you are grant 10 or 100, we are there to help you. Or you've got a job and you don't know how to do it, or you are scared even to apply for a job because you don't know how to do the job after you got it. I think you should also apply for the course as well, because even after you got the job, this support is there during on the job training for you as well. Okay. All right, so now today we are going to look into how to create your CV from scratch. Okay, I don't have a template today. I'm not going to use any template. I'm going to use Word, which I know everyone should have a Word. Yeah, so I'm going to stop sharing the screen. So 1 minute, then I'll bring Word out. So just open Microsoft Word, which I'm going to share right now. All right, cool. Thank you. So now this is Word. Most of us will open Word and you go to blank canvas, right? So that is good. Then you will see something like this, right? So, and the same thing we want to use, right? So, but we want to use a template that Microsoft already kind of provided for us so that we can then go from there anyway. So, and so what we need to do, click on File, then you click on new. We want to have a new document and you need to search for a template. So if you can say CV or resume, okay? So let's say CV, okay? And you have several templates, okay? Now you have some of the templates that you have. So I'm going to be talking about CV within the UK, okay? Because I've been working in the UK now over 18 years. So yeah, so I know how CV should look like, and I've seen CV as an employer, and I'll also see I've applied as an employee as well, for whether permanent or contract role anyway. So I'll be telling you what you should put in there in your CV. Hopefully you can see my screen, right? Please and please do not use any of these three, right? The reason is that in the UK, you don't put pictures in on your CV, right? Don't do that. So you shouldn't do this anyway. So the one that's got the pictures, don't use them, right? Another thing that I personally will not allow you to use or will not ask you to use is those one that's got column on the left, right? So like this one or this one, right? or this one, or this one, right? That it's okay if the column is only on the first page, right? But if you have it on all the pages, it's just a waste of space, because after the first page, then there's no reason for the columns again, right? So if your CV is only one page, then it's fine, but I would not subscribe to one page CV, right? Okay, so don't use any of those. But if you are forced to use this, right, or any of the columns one that's got the columns like that, so ensure that it's only appearing on the first page. They are not appearing on the other pages anyway. So I would go with something like this, which is good, right? So, and if you go down, you see some CV like this one, right? So, and yeah, so like this one, like this. So yeah, so like this, but this is because this is also got columns. I would not use that unless the next page hasn't got something like that. This is good as well. Yeah, so that is what I would do. Yeah, one functional CV. So this one, and chronological CV, which is good. Extended CV is also a good one as well. So okay, let's try to use the extended CV for a start. Okay, and you click on it and you can see the layout, right? You have your name at the top, and you have the education, you have the award or anything, research, blah, blah, dissertation. Yeah. But for you, it's not going to be dissertation, it's going to be experience anyway. So you can decide to use that. Let's try to go into that one, and you click on create. Okay, so now you can see, even though this is kind of like a yeah, research or education, so it's still okay for you as well, because you can put your education, your name, your maybe achievements within your project, and your experience. Instead of research, will be experience anyway. Then you can list what you need to list. So let's go back and click and select another one anyway. So, and I'll click on new again, then I'll say CV. Then scroll down. This time around, I will take the functional CV one. And you can see this is got the name, the objective, your education, your skills, yeah, and then your experience at the bottom. This is the one I would recommend if you want to go to, yeah. So I would recommend this anyway. So, okay, all right, let's go with this one. Okay. All right. Now you got the name, you got the address, you got the objectives, you got the education and your skills and ability. Then you've got the experience. So this is what you need in the CV, right? So that is it. So and the first thing on your CV will be your name, right? So okay. So my name is Deji Emmanuel. Okay, and that is it. Then the address, you need to put the address. Okay, so that is me covered on this level, right? So then telephone number, then your email address. Okay, For today, I'm going to talk about this header, right? Because this is the first thing that you will see on the CV, and that's the first thing that recruiter will look into, right? And this is the one thing that would make or mar you at when they're looking at your CV, right? That is the first thing. First thing is your name, right? My name is Adedeji. Okay, and but as you can see, I just put Deji here. Of course, that's what people call me anyway. But on my passport is Adedeji. And I've seen instances when I kind of mentor some of my mentees and they put very, very long name, right? So, which is not the name that they bear. Okay. And a good example is Olua Shagun. To just make a fun of it. We never know. Olua Shagun for me. And they also now put Matthew. And yeah, let's say like that's in Emmanuel. All right. To be honest, right, for patient, right, to say Oluwasegun, I think that is mouthful anyway, right? So, and what's going to happen? They might as well just call you Matthew, right? And then if they would need to call you, right? So, but if you don't have, let's say you bear Matthew, but it's not written here in the CV, okay? You just say Oluwasegun for me because you want to personalize it because Oluwasegun and yeah, but it's for you, right? That is the full name that your parents give to you. It's not only Oluwasegun, so it's like that. So and yeah, it's okay, it's fine if you want to put it on CV, but of course, it will be difficult for some people to pronounce, right? Even let's say you're in Nigeria, right? You assume that not everyone is Yoruba. The non-Yoruba speaking people might not be able to actually understand or be able to speak to relate to that. So I just want to check what's on the chart. So 1 minute. If you have any questions, please just put it on the chat. I'll be looking into it anyway. So, okay. Okay, said, okay. There's a question is like, okay, please, where did you search out the CV? Okay, all right, quickly, I'll go back quickly, okay, on that. So if you go click on open Word, this is Word. Don't be deceived by this black screen, okay? I know some people already used to white screen or something. This is Microsoft Word anyway, so even though it's a black screen, I just prefer the black one because it looks techy anyway. So that's just the reason anyway. There's no other reason except from that. It just looks techy, and I chose the black background anyway. So yours can be white anyway, but it's fine. So what you just so just go to file, okay, and click on new, and you see search for online templates, right? Then click on CV. So then go to functional CV. I think you can even search for functional CV anyway, or you go to the bottom functional CV. And I think if you even put functional CV, it should come up. Yeah, you got these two. So, but this is the one I'm looking for, this particular one, right? So functional CV, and that's what you need to, yeah, click on it, right? And then click on create. Okay, that's what you need to do. Okay. Hope that is clear. I'm going to go back to the one that we are doing. And okay. All right. Thank you, Alex. Alex, black screen is also heavy for the eyes. Thank you. Okay. All right, cool. So now let's continue with this. Right. First, I said your name is very, very important. And I do appreciate even from people from my background, right? Our name carries every meaning, right? So your name, my name is Adedeji, means that I'm from royal family, right? And from both sides of the royal family, two crown coming together. So yeah, and it's a pride that we enjoyed, right? But one thing that you also need to know is like your name should not be hindrance to where you are going to, right? And more often people call us, yeah, it's like this particular person now. So his friend will call him Shegun, right? Or maybe Olu, right? They're different flavor, or maybe it's even Fumi, right? So, and like that. But on his CV, he has put the full name, right? Which might be mindful, even for Yoruba speaking people, right? So you'll be mindful. So why do you have to do that? So I will appreciate that if you can put a shorter version of your name that's easy to pronounce for Caucasian, right? So that it doesn't stand as hindrance for you, right? So, and if the law Olu in London now, because this is the reason, right? Because they think, oh, it's easy for people to pronounce and everything. And they get home, they bear Olu as Shegun for me. Yeah. And they go to the office, is Olu, and yeah, or Shegun. But ensure that your name is easy for people not in your tribe, right? And even, yeah, sorry, I'm not Igbo, but you see, I think there are other Chineke Edima or something like that, just to yeah, put something. But yeah, you see, even people will even just call you Chi or Ed or something like that. Just kind of yeah, if your name is not English, right? Try as much as possible to make it easy for people that are Caucasian to pronounce. That is one. Then two, right? If you do have, even for the Caucasians, actually, I put Matthew there before. So even Matthew at work doesn't even bear Matthew, right? It will say, call me Matt. So you need to appreciate their thought process, right? So that you can be able to, yeah, blend his culture, right? Even Matthew, that he knows is Matthew, say, my name is Matt, right? Even in his CV, you put Matt, yeah, something like that. So why are you using your name to now stand? Yeah, for that reason. So, and hopefully I've not offended some people that think, oh, your name is your heritage, your culture. Yeah, I do agree with that. So I'm not saying you should not bear your full name. I'm not saying so. So don't get me wrong. I take pride in our full name. It's really, really important. But let's just, yeah, wisdom, they say, is profitable to direct anyway. Okay. All right. Yeah. So, yeah. So I agree with you, Adeze. Yeah, so if your name is Adeze, there's nothing to say you cannot say it's Adi or something like that. So that's fine. That is also okay as well. Anyway, so but now the question some people ask now is, what about they asked me to bring my passport, right? And they found that is the shortened version of it that is on my passport. I've been using Deji for a long time now. Even when I got a role, they asked me for my passport, I sent it. To be honest, no one has even asked me to say, oh, we are looking for Deji and we are looking for Deji and we just send Deji. The same way Matt has got Matthew on his CV. Yeah, sorry, Matt, right, has got Matthew on his passport, right? But he's got Matt on his CV and nothing. And I worked with someone before, right, that he actually said, even for like since he was born, he has been bearing alias in his life. And the alias, I've forgotten now. Anyway, if I remember later, I'll share. So, but the alias was totally different from his name, right? Even at work, we call him, yeah, I think it's like Baz or something like that. But his name wasn't Barry, his name wasn't Bar, is Baz. That's what, and also in his CV, even at work, that is Baz, that is even on his profile and everything. But his passport is totally different, right? But that is their culture, right? So that is it, because they thought, we're just going to make everything easy for everybody. So, and that's that. Then also, right, some people would then argue that why do I need to put my address, right? Okay, all right. So there's another question. Thank you so much for that. So if you shorten your first name, what about your surname? Right. So you don't need to shorten your surname because your surname is not because if Caucasian, if they have to call you, they won't call you by your surname. They call you by your first name, right? So your surname will have to stay as it is anyway. So yeah, so you don't need to shorten your surname. That should be fine anyway. So I'm only talking about the first name anyway. So because when they want to call, they say, "Can I speak to DG?" And yeah, so that's one thing that you need to know. Yeah. So what about writing initial for the other names? Okay, all right. So you don't need to, in the UK, right? To be honest, once you put one name, it's fine. You don't need to put any other name. Like, okay, maybe I'm like that. Olu M Emmanuel. It doesn't, you don't need that. So Olu Emmanuel is okay, right? Because what they want.
Right.
So let's be muted, please. Thank you. So yeah, Olu Emmanuel is fine. So, but of course, if you have English name, please just use it anyway. For those people that have got English name or baptismal name, that should be okay. So and okay, so someone is saying, okay, can I use a different name which is not my ID, for example, Dave? So yeah, so like I said, one, you need to look at it, not like you are Matthew and you said, I want to use Dave, right, Emmanuel. No, that's not what I'm saying, right? So you don't do that, or because then that is impersonation. So, but if you are David, right, of course, people know that David is Dave, right? So that also is fine. So if you are yeah, so and you can decide to say, okay, my name is Wale, or you are Kola, or you are Ola. Yeah, that is fine. Yeah, but I won't say, okay, you should use name completely, right? So I've mentioned a friend that actually used a complete alias, but of course, this particular person has got almost 20 years experience and is a Caucasian. So I don't know how I was able to pass through that. So that's not something that I would want to recommend, right? Then also, right, I need to balance this, right? I have a friend, I know he will not mind, right? His name is Ibiyemi, right? When I first met him and I said, oh, what's your name? He said, Yemi. You know, some people just say, my name is Yemi or something like that. And I said, yo, you have to call me by my full name, right? But of course, he's got a lot of experience. He's fine. He's doing well by himself. Now he's a big boy anyway. But even he was working with in a bank then, and he would tell them that you need to call me by my full name, Ibiyemi, right? And the Caucasian struggled, right? Because you also told them that you need to pronounce it with the right tonation. For you Yoruba speaking people, you know, we have intonations. If you pronounce something badly, right, it means different thing, right? One of them is this one. Ibiyemi is Beth has favored me, or something is Beth, or as Beth has favored us, right? That is Ibiyemi. But of course, there's another one that is Ibi, which is bad thing or something bad, right? So if you now say EB, oh yeah, so that means bad thing. So you would explain to his colleague. So you have to pronounce my name the same way, otherwise you are cursing yourself, right? So they were happy to do that. But that is someone that is established, right? So if you're not established, you won't be able to say so, right? So like they say, where I come from. So if your hand is not, yeah, if you have not done what you need to do, you have not get to that point, you don't account, you don't start to say, okay, do this or do that, something like that. There's an adage I want to remember, but you know what I'm talking about anyway. So you need to know that, yeah, one way or the other, if you are not Drogba, right, then you need to look into how you can do that. So once you are Drogba, right? For instance, in my own case, right, I can decide to put a date on my CV, right? So If you like, call me. If you don't like, call me. It's your problem anyway. So, but that's one. So yeah, I was on the address before we finish. So you need an address, okay? That is one, okay? So ensure that you put an address, right? Because some people will not put address to say, oh, because of the job they are applying for, maybe the job is in far away from different places. I can share a testimony for you as well. And right there, I was in Edinburgh, right? And I put Edinburgh address, but I applied for a job in London, right? And they actually called me, right, to come and do interview right from Edinburgh, right, to come. So to be honest, sometimes address does not actually matter. But one thing, in instance now, when everything is remote, they want to get someone in the UK, right? So and they are not getting someone in Nigeria, so you need address. Even people that apply from Nigeria are putting address. So and that might, if you don't put address in there, let's say you just put London or something, anyone can put London anyway. So even if you're not in the UK, so that's one thing that I want you to look into. Within the course of this, I will also be sharing some personal stories with you in my journey as well. So because right now I mentioned the case of the Edinburgh one when I was in Edinburgh, and yeah, I will share some of the tips about the interview I did and how it went, and also some of the interviews I did. Well, the one that was good, the one that wasn't good, as well as we go along anyway. So that will be it anyway. So that for today, like I said, yeah. And before I go, also, right? So ensure that you put your telephone number, right, and know that it is correct. I've seen people that put telephone number that is not correct. Number is short, or number is mentioned. After you put the telephone number, send it someone to cross-check with you and ensure that they can ring the telephone number. That's fine. And email address as well. This is very, very important. Let your email be short, right? No more than 8 or 10 characters. So if it's more than that, then I think it's too much, right? So, and if you have a email address that is so long, right, you can do another one. Outlook is another one you can use. I know a lot of people are familiar with Gmail and Google, Gmail and Yahoo, rather. So, but you can go to Outlook. I think you should be able to see some variation of your name that is a bit shorter that you can start to use. Yeah, not of course pro Microsoft anyway. So, but it's not about the fact that I've got affiliation with Microsoft or I work with Microsoft, but that's not the issue. But I think you can get an email that is shorter and also with your name in it if you use Outlook anyway. So that is that. So ensure. Then the other thing that, for instance, if you are British in the UK, this will not be any under CV, right? So if you are, this is where I will stop now. If you are British in the UK, I want you to put nationality in there at the top, right? So, and you put British, right? Because so that they don't look at you and say, oh, this person hasn't got permit or something. Or you got ILR, okay, indefinite leave to remain. You also need to put in there as well that you don't require authorization to work in the UK. But that would also make your CV to stand out as well anyway. So that's another thing I would want you to use. So another thing that, as you can see now, okay, so okay, 1 minute, when I click in there and I press enter, it actually put a space here for me, nationality, British. But I actually wanted this to be without any space, right? So that's why I will be telling you some of the tricks that you need to do in editing the document as well. So one thing that you need to do, I can bring it to the top again, but this time around, I will press on Shift Enter so that it's closer, right? It doesn't come to the next line, okay? All right, so that is it for today. For when we meet again, we're going to be talking about objectives, okay? And what education professionals that you need to put in there and the skills that you need to have. And we'll also be looking into, yeah, if you don't have any objective created before, right, where can you get your objective created? How can you craft it out? And what profile can you use? And also the skills that you need on your CV, where you can get those CVs out, those skills out. And also, yeah, those are the things that we are going to look into. Then after that, we'll look into experience that you need for the role anyway. So that is where we are going to stop today. Hopefully, I've actually shared some interesting tips for you on what you need to do, what you shouldn't do on your CV. So,